Welcome back to another edition of the Just in Time podcast. As always, I'm
Yeah.
your host, Justin, and we've got Will.
Yes, sir. What's up?
What's up? It's time to talk a little football.
Yes, sir. Like everybody's been counting down on Stone for like the last since baseball ended. They've been X amount of days left.
You
Baseball
know,
did a
when
number on us this year, brother.
we're not used to for baseball saying, "Oh well, at least there's football season."
Yeah, we're not, but yeah. Enough about us. Enough
You
about
know,
us. We'll talk about us another time.
I think we talked about enough of what we know currently about us. There's some other people somewhere in the South Carolina area that claim to have the real Death Valley,
Oh dear, don't get me started.
and the best Tiger mascot, but they're like Tony the Tiger rejects over there.
The fuck you said on
So
Reddit during the season. They're like, they look like cheerleaders in helmets back in Reddit. I said that is good gosh.
So,
Um,
what we're going to do now is we're going to break down what we know, which isn't a whole lot,
yeah. Still pretty early.
but we can give you the storylines and the facts just on Clemson. And next week we'll start with La Tech and Ole Piss. We'll do pretty much an episode like that at a time,
Yeah.
breaking down this summer we're just breaking down the whole LSU schedule.
Yeah.
We're going to give you, before we talk about the team, we're going to give you the date and place. We don't know times yet. Although I think we
Yeah.
know the LSU Clemson game starts at 6:30.
Yeah, a lot of that. Well, the
I
first
think
couple
they
games should be TBD, but after the first, let me see, time 6:30. Yep,
we got
college game day.
6:30 on September 12th at the real Death Valley in Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge,
Step
Louisiana.
five, step 5 on the 5th, according to
It
Google.
said the 12th on Google.
Oh, for Clemson LSU, right?
Clemson LSU is September 5th. I was looking at it across, and it says September
Yeah,
12th,
yeah, because I know
6:30
they have the
for
word. Yeah, that's right.
La
Yeah,
Tech. But
yeah,
it's
yeah, that's right.
September 5th at 6:30. Our
Yeah,
first 3 games are at 6:30.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, no worries, no worries.
But September 5th at 6:30, the real Death Valley at Tiger Stadium in the one and only Baton Rouge. College game day will be there. But enough about the real Tigers. Let's talk about those Tony the Tiger rejects.
They're great. That's the sound.
They want to be great.
You gotta clip that. Please clip that. Whenever you finish clip this, please. One of you, yeah, gotta clip that, brother.
But got a coach whining about tampering.
I'm looking on the Yahoo Sports arc. I'm like, bro, this. I'm sorry to cut you because this stuff annoys me so much.
Yeah. But you know what? He's got a good point, especially since it's because of the Ole Miss aspect of it. And I'm not a fan of Ole Miss. Never will be. They might have been the only SEC school in the College World Series that I was pulling against. I'm so happy. Of all teams, Troy is the one that ended their season. So I know it's a little petty, but it fits.
It fits. I mean, listen, this is what it is.
The first thing that Pete Golden decided to do as the Ole Piss head coach is tampering. And now he's whining and complaining because he got caught.
Yeah.
But
But
for those of you who don't know, Luke Frellerell was in class and Pete Golding texted him a picture of $1 million contract and got Jackson Dart to message him and tell him to come to school here and we'll give it to you. After he had already enrolled in classes at Clemson, was sitting in class at Clemson, and you've got all of that. And you also have a coach in Dabo Swinney who is fighting to keep his job.
Yep, that's right.
Fighting to keep his job with a refusal to change his outlook on the college landscape of sports.
It's just like, and you bringing it up, like Sweeney said, I don't think any of us thought we'd be in a world where there's no order. It's a much bigger conversation now. Even in the NFL, there are rules. I'm like, listen, brother, and he goes on to say, you can't sign with the Browns and go practice for 2 weeks, and the Dolphins call you and say, hey, man, what are they paying you? Hey, we'll pay you $1 million more. Come down here to the Dolphins. And then you go in there and say, hey, boys, I'm out. That's really what we've gotten now in college football. It's like I'm just so sick and tired of just the victimhood mentality from these coaches and these pundits, man. It is so nauseating. I'm like, bro, you making over $10 million a year. Like, just like, bro, I'm not listen, and I've said it before, it's not perfect. I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not naive to say it's perfect. Bro, but you guys can jump out and leave when you want. These coaches leave before bowl games, but you coach
Which,
to me. Go ahead, go ahead.
speaking of that, they've now made it to where a coach has to finish the season out,
As it should be.
which was not rightly named the Lane Kiffin rule. It should be named the Old Piss rule because Old Piss is the one who threw him out
And he
and
wanted to
told him
stay, but
he wanted
I
to
mean,
stay, he wanted to coach his team, but he also knew, and I think it was Moscona who said it, or might have been Hunt Palmer. In his 4 years at Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin only got one 5-star recruit.
that's an unbelievable coaching job, man.
Yeah, and at LSU, he's got 5-star recruits knocking down his door from inside the state, you know? But enough about the real Tigers. Let's keep talking about them fake Tigers.
But yeah, but this it's so, like, bro, it's the victimhood mentality, bro. It's so nice, bro. You were doing a disservice to yourself, but not accepting the change. You
Yeah.
had the power. You're at a school that prioritizes the sport. You've done an unbelievable job there. I think you deserve to be celebrated, but
Mhm.
this is a new landscape.
Yeah.
Like
It's
adapt
a
or
new
die.
landscape that Dabo himself refuses to move forward in because he doesn't do, and Clemson doesn't do a lot of transfer portal.
I mean, that's a huge mistake, especially if you're struggling. I mean, I'm not saying you gotta always live and die by that, but it's just
Yeah.
you gotta have a balance.
They they don't want to use the transfer portal. They rather develop their players from the time they were freshmen. And
Which I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I mean, I think that's fair, but just
it's
like,
fair. It's how the
yeah,
game should be.
yeah,
I
yeah,
My thing is I think there should be he's got a point about signing with the Dolphins, signing, getting drafted, signing, and going to 2 weeks into practice. The Dolphins, his whole thing he said, he's got a point there. There should be a rule in place where these players can't transfer in and out of schools willy nilly.
yeah, yeah,
There should be a contract in place. It's not teaching them because all it's teaching them is when they get drafted and they do go to the NFL, this team might offer me more money. Let me go over there. And they're going to get into trouble because they're going to break that contract, you know?
yeah, for sure.
So he's got a point there. And he's also fighting for his job, and they're coming at players that he thinks he can win because I can guarantee you, if he does anything less than go to the playoffs, if they lose too badly to LSU, which they're going to lose to LSU, that if they get blown out, he might not have a job on September 6th. You know, he's had, I just want to see the last couple years. Here we go. Last year they were 7-6. They were 10-4, 9-4, 11-3, 10-3, 10-2. But let's go to just to 2020. They lost in 2019. They lost the national championship. Then they haven't touched the playoffs since then. Going to the Cheez-It Bowl, Orange Bowl, Gator Bowl, in a first round loss, and in the Pinstripe Bowl last year.
Yeah, I will say shout out to him though. I'll give him to be fair. Like 2024, I think that was his greatest coaching job because
Mm-hmm.
they had dipped a little bit. Obviously, normally you can't go higher than 14, 15 wins. You're going to have some
Yeah,
type of decline. But I thought that was an impressive coaching job in 24 to his
yeah.
credit.
But before all the rule changes with NIL and everything, starting in 15, he went national champion. I think he was runner up.
Runner up in 15.
Yeah. Did they win in? Let's see.
Runner up in 15, won the Natty in 16.
Here we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
runner up in 15, won the Natty in 16, played in the Sugar Bowl in 17, won the Natty in 18, lost the Natty in 19, and then COVID year and NIL, and he just hasn't been the same
Yeah.
since then. And I don't know where Clemson gets off on high horse, but they were not relevant in football. Their last national championship coming in, I think that's their only one.
They won
Uh,
in, I wanna say the '80s.
they won once in the 80s.
Yeah,
In
81, 81,
81, and they just
84.
like they got the South Carolina sports syndrome over there, where they think they win one in the 80s and they're this football god. And now that Dabo's not doing as well as they thought he should be doing, he's got to go. He's the
Yeah,
problem. I mean, somewhat he's the problem. He refused. He's like got that pulmonary thing where Palmieri's at the beginning adapted, but towards the end of his career, he recruited one kind of player,
yeah.
you know, and he stuck with that. He recruited a center fielder and a shortstop and didn't recruit anything else and just filled his team with shortstops and center fielders. And that hurt him, you know?
Yeah,
He couldn't adapt. The game kind of passed him by. That's kind of what's happening to him. Nick Saban adapted with the NIL to the point
yeah.
where he finally said, I'm retiring.
I mean, a lot of people look at that for sure, just like, what? I mean, he also coached for 40 plus years. I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes, I mean, you've been in like same thing with Coach K in basketball. I mean, brother, they've been coaching for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
You're gonna retire at some point. So
Yeah. So here we go. We've got article. Is Dabo on the hot seat among burning questions for Clemson football? Yeah.
yeah,
Said they underperformed and went 7 for 6 and missed the conference title game in college football playoffs. Not projected to do either of those things in 2026, according to this. You know, what will happen if they struggle again? I think if they struggle again, like I just said, if they get blown out by LSU, I think he's gone.
yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Like I said, and I'm thinking like I don't. You know, a lot of people talk. We got like a big advantage over them, like on the spread. But I'm like, I don't care too much about that anyway. But I'd be really shocked if it's just like a dog walk,
Yeah,
honestly. But
I
just, but like to
really,
your point, if it's that bad,
yeah, I really don't buy into point spreads
me neither.
until the middle of the season when
Yeah,
these teams have faced a couple of conference teams.
yeah.
So, but it's got listed. Will he regret not taking a transfer portal QB?
I mean, just anything like based on the trajectory, yeah, he just gonna regret not even considering heavily. Period.
Yeah.
So
I think we talked about this. I know Hunt Palmer talked about this. Will Chad Morris reinvigorate Clemson's offense? And
you would hope so.
just because he did it when he was there the first time, doesn't mean he'll do it now. Their revamped secondary, how will that perform? To me, it seems like they've got a lot more questions than answers at this point.
Yeah,
I don't know when this article came out. Let's see. Huh. It came out today, by the way, at 7:45 a.m.
that probably an update.
So this is the most up to date article I think we're looking at.
Yeah,
They don't have an experienced quarterback that's coming back.
right.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And look, like I said, guys, we're not Clemson fans.
Yeah,
So we're not actively following these guys and trying to see what's going on. So a lot of this might come out as just us making stuff up and ranting. We're just looking up stuff and trying to see what, you know?
yeah. I mean, just like I know you and I, we engage in the playful banter. You know, just
Yeah.
like with the real Death Valley, fake Death Valley. You know, Tiger same nickname. But yeah, just like we give credit to where it's due. 'Cause like we said, like, we respect Dabo's like his resume is he's done an
Yeah.
unbelievable job there. I'm just for his sake more so, will he regret being so rigid?
Yeah.
Like I said before, like just the victimhood mentality, not just him, but it's a lot of coaches, a
Yeah.
lot of pundits. But it's just, I mean, brother, you have a I would much rather not be rigid and adjust at Clemson than to have to coach at Villanova for
Yeah.
football. So
Or
it's like,
even
'cause
worse. Or even worse. Like Brian Kelly got to take the no pay job at Memphis because he destroyed LSU football so much.
yeah, got a three. But yeah, just
Yeah.
but it's just like, I mean, just I mean, I know he's gonna be fine. He made like
He'll
he
be
made his money.
fine.
He's gonna be
Look,
fine.
I think it's not this one. Here we go. They put it. I don't see Clemson getting rid of Sweeney for a maybe
Yeah.
at this point because his buyout in 2026 is $57 million.
Mm, steep.
And I don't think they have
That
$57
money.
million to throw at him, you know?
Yeah, same thing. I forgot what Mike Norvell's bio is, but like that's a lot of people was leaning towards. The reason why he didn't get fired after this past season because the buyout was so steep.
Yeah.
But so I guess this is like a similar situation. At least in fairness to Sweeney, he's far more accomplished. He's been to four
He's been there
natties.
for 17 years.
Yeah, and been to four, like basically a fourth of his seasons, he ended up in the national championship game.
Exactly. You
So,
know?
in fairness to him, I respect him greatly, but it's just, I mean, you
Before
can't
all of this
complain.
NIL stuff happened and he refused to go to the transfer portal and stuff, when they fired Ed O, and you want to talk about adjusting in college football landscape, LSU adjusted. They brought Ed O back. The last national championship winning coach at LSU is on the coaching staff right now.
That's it.
But point being is they're not the SEC where it just means more. Everything just means more in the SEC. So if a
Like people
coach is
love that.
underperforming and his contract is $50 million, we'll pay that $50 million to get rid of that joker. That's just the nature of the beast in the SEC. You want to compete and be at the top, you're not going to keep paying the same loser. Not that
The
I'm
thing
saying,
is,
look, I'm
yeah,
not
and
saying Dabo's a
yeah,
loser.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
just talking about our past
Yeah,
losers we
yeah,
had over here.
yeah.
Point
And
being,
people
though,
don't
is
understand that.
yeah,
Yeah,
what people don't understand is some people treat going to an LSU football game or watching an LSU football game or just SEC in general down here as going to church.
which shouldn't be the case, I will say.
They hit
But
their knees, and pray for a victory
all I
for
see over the years, people
three
be like,
hours every weekend and go to church like they didn't just cuss God out the night before when their team lost.
"All right now, brother, come on."
You know,
Look, they don't hear that. Though. That's
but
real.
it's real. It's the truth. But
You ain't lying.
a struggling field goal kicker goes up to kick a field goal to win the game. Everybody in that stadium is like this.
Yep, I'll just like I've watched enough football,
You know,
especially in the SEC over the last 20 years, and they be like, "Was that the only time y'all pray?" I don't know you, but I mean, I figure like with the drinking y'all do, cussing y'all do, but y'all see these praying. That's it. The only time I see y'all
you
do.
get a lot of this, or you
Look,
get this.
make you get this like put the head down.
You get a lot of that and that and that in the SEC, and that's just how we do it here. It just means more.
No, people don't like that phrase. I mean, it's just, but like I said, we said the last upload, it's about the priority.
Yeah,
Like, don't stop. Like, I know people are gonna be bitter about this shit regardless. But one thing I have to realize is nauseating as these other fans are, people like they don't complain about losers because
yeah,
losers are a laughing stock, especially a
exactly.
perennial loser. Like they just want what the SEC has.
hmm
That's all
Now
it comes
look,
down to.
when Brian Kelly got hired originally, just going off of your thing about losers,
Yeah.
a lot of people said in the media Brian Kelly will not fit in with LSU's culture. Marcus Spears went on and said, look, Brian Kelly's a winner. He's won at every other school he's been at. It's also a culture and it's winning.
Mm.
Brian Kelly just couldn't do that at LSU. And that's why we got Lane Kiffin, who I think can win. And it's going to be a little more of a struggle for Dabo and Clemson to handle in their first game this season because it's not a predictable run the ball up the gut with Lane Kiffin. But, just going back, we got the transfer portal question, the Chad Morris question, the secondary question. The next question he poses is how will Clemson's defensive tackles perform after departures and injury?
And that's a big one too, because like they had going into last year, that was like when their celebrated unit. But that was like thing
Exactly.
we was worried about. I'm like, 'cause you have like a NFL players, like highly tie the NFL's prospects on the defensive line, the defensive unit. So that's a big question.
Yeah.
So
Then that was the last question they posed,
yeah,
and I didn't realize this, but Green is went to came from Clemson
mm,
at
yeah, I
LSU.
forgot about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I don't know if we touched on this. Where's it at? Did I post the thing on? Yeah, I posted on Paul. Paul Fonbaum forecasted their season. I'm not saying that he is the end all be all or the but his quotes are I have don't have any
Zero
faith or belief in
basically.
Dabo Sweeney anymore.
Yeah, right.
It's hard for me to believe that Clemson with a new quarterback is going into Baton Rouge and win that game. He also said he thinks he'll have another winning season, another good 8-4 season, but he just doesn't predict that going into the real Death Valley in Baton Rouge with the new quarterback and beating LSU. You know,
We shall see, brother. Like,
yeah, we'll
yeah,
see.
I don't get too much riled up in like I know like that the quote just I'm looking at on the Tiger net, like you said. Somebody like I think Clemson fan predicted a blowout or but I'm assuming this from the context of the Clemson fan calling the Fine Bomb show predicting a blowout. The LSU wins in the blowout. I don't care about that too much right now. I just like they got so much time in between. But like you said, I just like basically what we've been saying, just and I've been saying, you guys, it will behoove Dabo to really at least embrace some of this new era. And
Yeah,
really all of it, honestly, because at least I mean, and I get it. When you have success as much as you had to that level, you feel like your ways are higher, which I mean,
but
I get that to the set standpoint, but
I
I
get that
mean,
too. Like you're saying, if you have it and you've won and you succeeded in that way, it makes sense for you to keep doing it that way.
yeah,
But when the top programs in the country nowadays
are doing it.
are doing it as looking at it as a business
Yes, and
and are
once is always
going in
it's always has been a business.
and paying millions of dollars to these players to build their rosters, and you're just going off of high school recruits, and you've got guys that are proven that you're going against,
Yeah,
that
I'm with you. Yeah,
it just you need to embrace it even a little bit. Like, there's
yeah,
no reason that with all the quarterbacks in the thing, I mean, in the transfer portal this year, that he couldn't go get a veteran quarterback. Never thought
yeah,
those words would come out my mouth, veteran quarterback, like we're talking about some NFL team, but here we are. And just because it just came out yesterday, and we talked about it, I think, on the show, but last week, one of them,
yeah.
Brandon Shoresby's request to enter the supplemental NFL draft was denied.
Yes, I saw that because they're not going to have this. I was like, that's tough,
Yeah,
bro. It's tough. Yeah,
I guess it's just the way it is.
yeah.
Yep. Well, that'll do it from us. Will, you got any closing?
Listen, man, just like my closing remarks will be just it's going to be a a huge spectacle. Tigers versus Tigers on game day. It's coming September.
Yeah,
You know, like obviously I got our Tigers winning, but I mean, like I said, when it comes to football in general, I don't care how good we're doing. I really don't. Like
yeah,
growing up watching Saints football during their golden age, watch LSU during their golden age. It don't matter. You could be 8-0 winning by 50 points a game. I never get too high or too low
exactly.
because it's just you got one game a week.
And
So
look,
it's
we have a whole new coach and new team coming in basically with new schemes.
exactly, yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you we're going to blow Clemson out.
I don't think we will. I just don't see it.
I will, however, I'm not going to do that now.
Yeah,
When it gets closer and we know a little bit more about these teams in August, and we go through in August, maybe in August I'll come out here and say, "Oh, we're going to beat Clemson by 50 points."
well, depends on what it looks
You
like.
know, but as of right now, we just don't know enough to say we're going to blow them out.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, you do have a coach. He might have a quarterback with no experience in the college game going into the most hostile place in college football.
yeah,
But this is a coach that's fighting for his job.
yeah,
At
yeah.
the end of the day, I think that means something.
It does.
So we will see. But that'll do it from us. As always, please like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's get the Spotify going up. Let's get the YouTube going up. That'll do it for me. I don't have anything else. You got anything to add?
Good, brother. It's been another episode, another great recordings. I'm looking
Yep.
forward to for next week.
Yep. See y'all next week. Have a night, great day, great morning, whatever you have. Just make it a great one.
Either.
And that'll do it from us.
God bless, gentlemen.
God bless. See y'all later.
Later.